Good morning, cherubs.
Good morning, Heather.
Oh, hi. Did you miss me? Because I missed you. Hello and welcome back to the Cherub Chats podcast. I'm your host, Guardian Angel and Big Sis, Heather Michelle. Did we miss me? I missed you. Like I said in the beginning, it has been so long and it's kind of crazy that I've been away this long. But, first off, we have some changes to the setup here. I have my little couch split in half. I thought my dog would want to sit on the other half, but I should have known better because he still found a way to squeeze his little body in this one seat. So that's great. My friend came to visit from Texas and we turned this office into a guest bedroom for her. And I split the couches up so that they could fit in here and in my bedroom. And I just left them split. I was like, oh, this kind of creates like a cozy little vibe. So yeah, let me know. I know everything's like kind of off-centered because I'm on this one couch instead of like in the center of the other couch. Let me know what you think. But anyways, it has been a while, guys. I feel like I got so many questions throughout my hiatus of the Cherub Chats podcast. Like, when are you coming back? Oh my gosh, I miss you. Like, please, are you restarting the podcast? And what's funny is that in the moment, while I was filming and posting the podcast, it felt like I got like very little feedback. And actually little feedback, but the feedback I did get was really sweet and emotional. And I had a lot of cherubs reach out saying that they relate to a lot of my upbringing and a lot of my experiences and my thoughts and feelings and such on many different topics, from family to friendship to relationships and all that, which is amazing. But I'm not gonna lie, like, I know no one wants to hear an influencer complain, but it is a lot of work to film a podcast, set it up, produce, edit the video, then post, and then from that try to actually get eyes on the podcast, because unlike an algorithm like TikTok, you don't really get served up suggested podcast. You kind of have to know exactly who you're looking for. So then I have to take more time to edit short form content, or I don't know, like speak out about it a little bit more openly. So it is a little bit more of a full-time job, but initially I took a step back because we had just moved to California and I felt like my life was just so indoors, because the life I had created for myself in Texas was very conducive to my all or nothing mentality with my job, with social media, because I didn't have anything to do. I didn't really have friends I hung out with. So all of my time, from the morning I woke up to the morning I went to bed, to the time I went to bed, I would stay up filming little clips. I would film TikToks, Instagram, and obviously edit the podcast and edit YouTube and all that. So it was definitely a lot of work and not a lot of play at the time. But now that I'm in California, like, I really want to have a good, healthy balance between work and play, because there is so much to do here and life can be so fun, and we have so many amazing, beautiful parts of this world to explore, even just within like 30-45 minutes of us. So yeah, but I got here and I felt like I was, nose down grinding, and one, I wasn't really feeling like I was getting the fruits of my labor. Two, I didn't want to live the same lifestyle that I was in Texas here. I wanted to have more of a 50-50 split where I can have a moment to like go to the beach and walk without feeling like I have to get back to work, which obviously we all have to get back to work. We all need to make a living, but I just felt like I was doing too much and not really getting that much back in return. So I put the podcast on pause, I put YouTube on pause, and slowly but surely I've been trying to add more and more to my plate, and it's been a journey. If anyone cares, I will like put the time where we're actually talking about the winter art glow up here, but if you guys want to catch up and like chat, basically I've decided that now that I'm back, I am going to treat it a little bit more casually, because I'm sure most podcasts are a little bit scripted. They're planned for, they have prompts written out. And even for myself, like I usually ask you guys for some questions, which we will resume that tradition for sure. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into even just preparing for a podcast episode. And I think I am probably going to do a healthy mix of like not preparing and preparing. Like obviously I'm not going to come on and turn the mic on if I have nothing to say, but I also don't want to have it so scripted and have me so stressed out about doing research and like grabbing quotes and like references. And it's like, it's not that deep. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I am not actually anyone who you should be trusting. Really? No, I'm kidding. Trust me, because I'm your big sis. But like in the same way that your big sis will give you advice, I'm going to be giving you advice from experience, and I'm not going to be the most educated on it. And this is me admitting that, of course. But anyways, so yeah, I think my approach from now on with everything is just going to be kind of like go with the flow and like go with what's coming naturally to me. And I love putting in effort. I love a production. I love trying new lighting and a microphone and what format, what editing, what backdrops, all this. But I realized that like I was focusing too much on the fluff and not on me, which social media sometimes, like, it's so fucking weird because social media, like, some people will say nobody cares about you, you have to teach people. And then some people, I feel like your niche, like no one can make content like you because you're the only you there is and people want to hear you speak. So it's really up in the air, I guess. But I think at this point I need to put myself out there because I do think that I have a lot of value innately in just who I am as a person. And I think when I do speak out and speak up and speak, just even if it's a stupid opinion like about an irrelevant thing like a bagel or I don't know, whatever, people resonate, and that's really cool. And that's the whole point of this whole thing is community. And I love that that's what my cherubs are. Like I found my little cherubs, you know? So anyways, that's a long tangent, but I'm definitely like on a journey still of finding my place with content creation and finding my flow and finding that authenticity. I feel like no matter what the content, I'm always 100% me, but it's like, am I hiding behind a curtain? Am I hiding backstage, or am I front and center? You know, and it's like, I can be myself off stage, or I can be myself behind a curtain, and I can be myself on stage, but it's just a matter of like how much I've been putting myself out there, if that makes sense. And I think I'm ready to just start yapping. And if you want to listen, we're going to yap together. Okay. But today's episode is so exciting because we are starting the Winter Arc Challenge today. So the day that you are listening to this podcast episode, or at least the day that this is going live, it is Friday, November 1st, 2024. And we are getting locked in to our Winter Arc Glow Up Cherub Challenge. I kind of came up with this on the fly because I wanted to do this for myself. And I was like, let's just share it with the cherubs, because I always share everything I do, whether it's where I get an outfit from, where I get my makeup from, where I got my nose done, or what I'm doing to be the best version of me. And what you guys can do to be the best versions of yourself, to be your most confident self, and just like shine your bright light the way you were meant to. Okay, so basically, if you don't know, I actually had coffee with my friends yesterday, and they were like, okay, what is a winter arc? So basically, a winter arc is the time of year that typically people actually get very depressed and very sad. Despite the fact that it's the holiday season, you know, time feels like it's flying in a way that is uncontrollable, and it can create a lot of melancholy. The sun is setting sooner, it's getting darker sooner, it's cold, you don't want to go outside. Most people are inside most of the day because there's no initiative to go outside, get some sun because it's cold, or the grass is dead, or no one wants to make plans, or they're too busy and they're in the holiday hustle bustle. This is also the time where people drop all their really good healthy habits because they get so wrapped up in all the holidays and work and end of season, end of quarter, all that, and you just drop all your good habits by the wayside and you kind of revert back to your old self, and then January 1st comes and you just want to magically start again and start fresh. But this is a way, if you get tapped in, if you get locked in right now, you can achieve so much of your New Year's resolutions for 2025 in the last 2 months, 3 months of the year. Granted, we're starting November, so it's 2 months, but time is so funny and weird, where like, think about the progress you would make from January to March, right? Like, you probably did make so much progress from January to March. Now, why should you stop making that progress from November to December 31st? You know, kind of crazy, kind of cuckoo. Why do we do that to ourselves? I don't really know, but I'm here to stop it. I'm here to get into it. For me, I feel like a lot of things have gone well this year. I've definitely put myself out there to become a social butterfly. I've moved to California. I've worked with so many amazing brands. I got my Bronco, which was so exciting. And I've started to like kind of get into the beginning stages of making friends or rekindling friendships, which were all a ton of goals that I had on my personal New Year's resolutions. But one big aspect of my New Year's resolutions that I didn't hit, that I didn't really focus on while I was having fun putting myself out there, was my health, my mental health, my inner beauty, and my outer beauty. So that's why my winter arc challenge is really like health and fitness and wellness based, but you can really edit these rules to be whatever you feel like you need to tap into and lean into for the rest of the year. Like, if you have intense work goals, make your own goal list that will help you push forward in that realm of your life, you know. But these are just a few that I'm going to be doing. And you guys, I'm going to preface this by saying I've been doing this for a week, pretty much kind of testing out like what I want my routine to be and what I want these rules to be. I already feel so amazing. You guys probably know, like, I'm addicted to coffee. One of my favorite things is to do like hop around and check out new coffee shops, or like grab a coffee and go thrifting, grab a coffee and go on a walk, like, it's always centered around coffee. And to be honest, I'd rather that than alcohol, but I'm a coffee girl, okay? And this past week, I have been forgetting to drink my coffee, and I still feel so full of life, so energized, so ready for the day, and my energy is pretty consistent throughout the whole day. I have not really had any cravings. I do still crave one of the things that I'm going to talk about, but it's really not anything insane. And mind you, I am like PMSing right now. Like, it is time of the month for me, which is insane because usually that's when I get the most cravings. That's when I break out the most, and it's just everything goes down the drain the week of and the week before and the week after. No, literally that's a woman's life. Like 3 weeks out of the month is like revolving around our cycle. It's crazy. But anyways, moral of the story, I feel great doing all these things, and I was telling my husband this morning, I kind of feel stupid and I feel sad and I kind of feel mad that I am just now picking up on the secret to life, basically. Like, what? Why did it take me 28 years to figure out these other things that I'm going to share? But let's get into the list. Okay, so number 1, for me, I feel like one of the more harmful habits I had was my Diet Coke addiction. And I used to be like, Diet Coke has 0 calories. It's literally not affecting my body composition goals. Like, it's 0 calories, like calories in, calories out. But then as I was learning a little bit more, I learned that Diet Coke has these chemicals in it, obviously, that make it sweet, that make it yummy, and that make it 0 calorie, that kill parts of your gut microbiome. And I was having like a Route 44 from Sonic like almost every day, which is kind of crazy, but I was like, ooh, it's my little guilt-free treat. Like, it's 0 calories. It's definitely coming to you at a cost. I also learned that it can increase cravings, so I had to cut that out. And that's rule number 1, is cut out one unhealthy food habit. It is not meant to demonize any food groups or food items, more so kind of get you in control of these habits and get you outside of this loop of feeling like this food item or whatever habit is a crutch for you. For me, it almost felt like at a certain time of night, like I just was craving a Coke so bad, and it almost felt like I had no control of it. Like I just have to go to Sonic and get one. Like I'm really thirsty for a Coke. When in reality, I can stop that at any moment. And on top of that, that unhealthy habit is in some way harming my body, especially when I do it so much. I will say these unhealthy foods can be fine, perfectly great in your diet. And I don't mean diet as in like lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks diet. I mean like the diet of a dog, the diet of a lion, the diet of a human. This is my diet, you know? This is what I consume in a day. Anything in your diet can be fine in moderation, but personally, I was mistaking moderation for equality and doing like, okay, 50% of my diet can be Diet Coke, and then 50% of my diet can be water. No, babes, you need to drink more water or like more hydrating beverages. So rule number 1 of this Winter Art Glow Up Challenge is cut ties with your toxic ex food habit. Rule number 2 is replace that toxic food habit with a good food habit, a healthy, beneficial, healthy food that you like become obsessed with, and it's like your new little midday treat, or like that's kind of how I want you guys to think of it, is like a daily little treat that you look forward to, and it's your newfound obsession. For me, that's bone broth, especially in the winter months. These little warm drinks just like, make me feel so good and so cozy. And bone broth is so beneficial for so many things. One, it's really high in protein, so it's going to help me move towards my goal of shifting my body composition. Stay tuned to the Winter Art Glow Up Challenge over on TikTok and Instagram to see me break down each of these a little bit deeper day to day, because as I introduce these habits on the vlogs, I'm going to be talking about them more. Bone broth is great for your health, bone broth is great for your gut health, which is completely the opposite of what my bad habit was, which was literally killing my gut microbiome. So that's a perfect flip to incorporate into my daily routine. It's good for joint health, immune system, skin health, anti-inflammatory, stronger bones, healthy hair and nails, and better sleep, which is amazing because I really have been sleeping way better. And I think there's a lot that it is going into that, but bone broth is one of those. So substitute and become obsessed with a healthy food instead. And incorporate a pretty habit. This can be a wide variety of different things, but it's basically one habit that you do every day that maybe won't make you feel pretty instantly. It's not an instant fix, but over time, if you build it as a habit, incorporate it in your day to day, it's going to improve the way you feel and look about yourself. For me, that is gua sha. And actually, today I got a little compliment on my face. Someone said it was looking really snatched. I'm like, it's probably the gua sha or the contour, but maybe the gua sha. Who knows? And that's a habit where like instantly you obviously don't really see a difference in the mirror, but after weeks of doing this routine, not only is it going to make your face look great, but it's also going to help with your lymphatic drainage and help move toxins out of your body. I also want to start incorporating like stomach massages in bed to help move a little bit more of like locked in or like stuck liquids or fluids or inflammation from my stomach down and out. And that's going to pair really well with another habit, which is drinking a gallon of water a day, but we'll touch on that later. This pretty habit could be applying a lash serum. It could be doing maybe a daily mask. It could be so many different things. It could be applying like a different oil to your body to help moisturize your skin and make it look glowy. And it could even be taking like a certain vitamin, maybe collagen, biotin, whatever, that in the long run is going to increase your physical beauty, but not necessarily physical activity yet, because that will be in the challenge later on. Rule number 4 is a pretty aura habit, which I feel like a lot of challenges online definitely focus a lot on physical transformation, but part of me that I felt like was slipping was like this sense of gratitude. I'm always grateful, don't get me wrong, literally every day I wake up grateful, but making it a ritual in my life really made everything hit so much better. Like I would wake up and like look at a pretty sky, I'm like, oh my god, that's so pretty, but I almost had like this deep spiritual gratitude for everything, like that it would make me overly emotional, which maybe I don't want to get to again. I don't know, it's kind of nice to be so grateful for everything, but like literally everything would make me cry because I was so full of so much gratitude and love and light and all that. And I feel like it really shows in my exterior, it also shows in my physical life, like the amount of blessings that were happening when I was like making sure that I was really working on my inner self was A1. So I want to get back to that, make my inside, my aura, my spirit healthy and happy. So for me, that's going to be writing out like a gratitude journal prompt every day. That for you could be praying to God or whatever that looks like for you. It could be meditating. It could be just sitting in like a forest or the beach or a park and literally touching grass, manifesting, or it could be listening to positive affirmations. There's so many ways that you can work on your aura, and that's the way that I'm going to work on that. The fifth habit is going to be a smart habit, and I think that the 75 Hard Challenge tries to address this, but I think it needs to be a little bit more fun, to be honest, or just something that's of your choice. I feel like me personally, when I'm told to do something, it makes me dread something, which is why a lot of these rules are kind of open to interpretation and whatever you prefer. So for this one, I will be listening to educational podcasts. I've been liking the Huberman Lab podcast lately, but that's really about like a lot of health and wellness and like about neuro, like just sciencey things, okay? But I also really like the psychology in your 20s or of your 20s or something, just to learn a little bit more about what makes people tick and what makes me tick. You could listen to audiobooks. You could read a book. You could take an extracurricular class. I mean, if you really want to go for it, you could take a college course. Like even as an adult, you could take one at your local community college. There's so many things that you can work to improve your intellectual beauty. And I think that is such a important part of what makes someone beautiful, is when they can carry a conversation about a topic that they're really passionate about. They're really well educated, and maybe they can teach you something or you can teach them something. It's just like opens up a whole new world. I think especially like Gen Z and like Gen X and like early millennials, like we can definitely get caught in talking and brain rot. And I'm guilty of that for sure, especially with my job being on social media. But it is really important to water that, because if you don't use it, you lose it, and your brain will literally start to rot if you don't work on learning and expanding and growing your knowledge. So, yeah. The next habit is 30-30-30, which is basically a method that I learned on TikTok. It's when you consume 30 grams of protein within 30 minutes of waking up, followed by a 30-minute walk. And besides the fact that 333 is like my favorite number, my favorite angel number, this is a really great way to prioritize protein. And there's another rule about protein later on, but this one in particular I feel like is such a key combo, even though it can be a little annoying to me, to be honest, because I'm used to kind of like waking up, going to a class, then walking, then eating, like literally backwards. I found myself getting really tired like after all of that. Like I would want to come home and take a nap. But with 30-30-30, you wake up, you fuel your body, you're putting gas in your car before you go out to drive it. And wouldn't you know, it drives better. Kind of crazy, right? So 30-30-30, I know a lot of people think like intermittent fasting is great or starving yourself is great, and really you're just putting out the fire that is your body. And in order to build muscle, burn fat, whatever it is that your goal is. Maybe it is just to maintain, like, but who wants to maintain their body weight and be tired all the time, right? And that's because your fire is being put out essentially with a slowing of your metabolism. And how you can speed that up is by putting in more fuel. I'm using too many analogies: cars, gas, fire. Sorry. Let's just stick to fire, okay? Protein, fats, carbs, those are all logs that you can put into your fireplace to burn a cozy little fire. But protein really helps. One, I learned through the Huberman Lab podcast that the consumption of protein, high protein, at least 30 grams of protein can actually, I'm sorry, I need to say that again. So I actually learned recently that when you consume high amounts of protein, it can actually stimulate the production of GLP-1s, like in Ozempic, Wegovy. So really, you don't need to run out and get Ozempic. You don't need to stick yourself with needles if you don't need to. You get my drift? Like, if your doctor tells you, obviously listen to your doctor. Don't listen to some random girl with a mic from Amazon. Free. If you want to stimulate some fat burning stuff in your body, eat some protein. You heard it here first. I know, revolutionary, crazy. So starting that fire early in the morning is going to keep it burning throughout the day. It's also going to give you energy. You're going to feel bright and awake and alert. That 30-minute walk, also going outside, helps your, what is it called again? This is why I said don't listen to me, because I don't know anything. Your circadian rhythm. Having sun in your eyes first thing in the morning really helps your circadian rhythm. Now, this is where I say it's kind of annoying, because currently the sun doesn't rise until 7. Yeah. So the fact that I have to wait, like, my previous routine was go to a 6 a.m. class or a 6:30 a.m. class and get it out of the way. And then that way I felt like I had more time in the morning to do whatever I wanted to do, which unfortunately a lot of the times was just scroll and like take my long ass time in the shower. But it is really nice to get some sunlight, some fresh, brisk air, take my dog out on a walk, and just like get my body and blood pumping and moving. And you get a little bit of endorphins, and then it just creates a great place to start your day. It sets you off with a good mood for the day. And I honestly attribute a lot of my good energy throughout the day to just starting it off with a nice walk outside. Rule number 7 is 30 minutes of resistance training 3 times a week. Resistance training can be really anything that is creating a resistance on your body. It could be body weight, it could be weighted, it could be a Pilates reformer, it could be a water bottle, it could be your baby, whatever. But the reason I put this in there is because me personally, I'm trying to build a muscle mommy body, and I know that happens with lifting weights and lifting heavy weights. So for me, it is a goal to go at least 3 times, lift some weights, try to build some muscle, put that protein that I'm intaking in the morning to good use to build a nice booty, a nice bicep or something. And this is pretty self-explanatory, but I think people overcomplicate it. People think, I need to lose 20 pounds by tomorrow. Let me work out 5 times a day. Or let me work out. I've heard like people do 2 a days, which is crazy. People work out 6 to 7 times a day, which is crazy. You're basically burning on all cylinders for literally no reason, because I've learned this from the beginning of my workout journey is actually like, you want to start off slow so that eventually, like, when you're not seeing progress, when you're not building the muscle as much as you saw once, or maybe you're not losing the fat as fast as you saw once, you have somewhere to go. Oh, okay, 2 times a week isn't working for me anymore. Let me add another one. Okay, 3 isn't working. Let me add another one. If you start at 6 or 7 days, if you start with the hardest workouts, if you start with doing 2 a days, you have nothing else to add. What are you going to do? Add a 3rd, a 4th workout per day? That's insanity. And that's why people end up going crazy and going back. Just start with 3 times a week. And that does mean that you get 4 off days a week from resistance training, but I also heard that like really all humans need is like at least 30 minutes of activity a day, 7 days a week to keep them healthy. And that could be like walking your dog. And that's why I think 30 every day is actually so important, because a lot of us don't get our steps in a day, don't get our activity in. So that kind of already takes care of like the general health and well-being, while the 30 minutes of resistance training 3 times a week helps to kind of add on to that just basic survival essential amount of activity, and now takes us into the glow up territory where we're actually now changing and improving our physiques or our health or our well-being, you know? Okay. Rule number I have to keep counting these goddamn rules. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. No, 7, 8. Number 8 is hit a protein goal. Now, the general consensus for this is like you want to hit 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. It could also vary to be 1 gram of protein per pound of muscle in your body, or it could be 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So if you're like really overweight, that's probably going to be a lot of protein to have to intake, and that's too much. So then maybe go to a doctor and see like what they think your healthy range would be, and try to hit that in number of grams of protein. It's kind of up to you and your doctor. For me, I aim anywhere from like the amount of muscle I have, because I have a scale that tells me, to my current body weight. It's kind of a little bit of a range. Obviously, the more the better, but like I try to at least hit that pounds of muscle in my body per day. And this is going to it's going to improve your bone health, joint health. It's going to help build muscle. But what a lot of people forget is that it also makes you really pretty. Protein is what your hair is made of. It's what your nails are made of. It's going to keep your skin beautiful. That's how you regenerate like your skin, on top of collagen. Collagen is a protein. It just does so much for you. And I think people think that protein is just for like buff bodybuilders, and like really it's for us girlies. It's for the girls who want to be cute, you know? So eat your protein, get it in. Rule 9, drink your water. I would say a gallon of water or liquid. That's one thing about the 75 hard challenge that I didn't like, is that water intake only counted if it was plain water, when in reality, your hydration levels can be increased if you have things like coconut water or like liquid IV, Salud, BCAAs in your water. Rule 10, read 10 pages of any genre book. Another thing that I'm trying to leave very open-ended and up to interpretation. You could read articles, you could read magazines, you could read a book, you could read a textbook, whatever it is. I just don't want to force anyone to do any one particular thing, because that's how you start rejecting it. And I do enjoy reading, but after 75 hard, I needed a break because I was just over reading like boring, like how to self-help books, which I actually love, but I just needed freedom a little bit. And so you can do whatever you want, really. And the last and perhaps the most important of all these rules is nail down a sleeping beauty routine. This is important for many different reasons. First off, as women, we need at least 9 to 10 hours of sleep. Most of us probably get 6 to 7. And the problem with thinking that we only need 8 hours of sleep is that when we get 7, we're like, well, I didn't actually miss out on that much sleep. Why am I feeling so tired? It's because you actually need 10, maybe more, depending on who you are and what time of your cycle you're on. So it's really actually detrimental to our energy when we're running off 6 hours of sleep and we're thinking, why am I not as energized as my husband? He slept less than me and I'm feeling way more sluggish. It's because our bodies are so different and our bodies need and require at least 9 to 10 hours. And if you feel fine with less, that's fine for you. But me personally, I would always wake up a little tired. Like I would want to lay back down. I would feel like I need like at least 30 minutes of like a buffering time to like read or look through social media just to like wait till I'm actually awake. And when I'm telling you that 10 hours of sleep is so clutch, so key. 9.5 actually is perfect for me. But when I wake up, I'm like ready to go. I know exactly what I gotta do. I get up, I get to the kitchen, I start cooking. I'm not sluggish, I'm not lethargic. I'm bushy-eyed and, what is it? Wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. Ready to go. And I feel so energized throughout my whole day. I used to be like tired at 2, maybe even 12, and I'd be like, well, it's okay, because people aren't meant to be energetic all day. Like, we're obviously supposed to tail off towards the end of the day. 5 o'clock, you get off work, like you're starting to get tired. No, we need to like not normalize being tired all the time. I normalized that for myself. I was like, I need more coffee, this whole like caffeine culture that I was in, that I still love, but like it really helped kind of push down the bigger issue that was like, I'm not getting a lot of these things in my day-to-day when I'm not focused on it, like I wasn't getting my sleep, I wasn't getting my water, I wasn't getting my protein. I sure as hell wasn't eating enough at all, which is so crazy because people think that like, oh, if you're not eating, like you'll lose weight. I gained weight because what happens is like you go through these spurts of like forgetting to eat and you're not intentional, and then you don't eat the right like macronutrients or micronutrients. You maybe eat a little bit more refined products and all this, and you just end up hoarding all this food in your body because they're like, well, I don't know when I'm gonna eat. So yeah, and I feel like alive again. So sleeping beauty, it's very important to our energy levels, obviously our beauty, because at night, that's when everything is regenerating. Your muscles are healing, your skin is turning over, or your cells are turning over, your skin is like healing itself. There's so many things that happen when you're sleeping, and when you cut it short because you want to be a 5 a.m. warrior, nobody gives a fuck if you wake up at 5. I'm sorry to say, nobody gives a fucking damn if you woke up at 5 or 4 or 3. Nobody cares. What I care about is feeling good. What I care about is feeling awake and alert and energized all day, and not having to run off 3 coffees a day. And that's the fact. And honestly, I did wake up at 5 and 5:30. Right now, it doesn't really work with my, like, the whole 30-30-30 thing. But if I could wake up at 5, if I needed to wake up at 5, I would still go to sleep like 9 to 10 hours prior. You need your sleep. Like, it's great if you wake up at 5. It's great if you wake up at whatever time. But just get in your sleep. It is so essential to your body, to your beauty, to your energy. And on top of that, how I want to make this a habit is I want you to have a very relaxing, calming, winding down routine at the end of the night. I need you to have a specific time of day that you're like, oh, okay, time to cut the bullshit, get off social media, turn the TV off, lower the lighting a little bit, maybe stop thinking about work, stop thinking about whatever stresses are in your life, and just start. For me, what it starts with is a little like pickup. I like to turn on some jazz. I'll start to kind of do my little nightly closing shift. Then I will have my supplements, and I will make a little Sleepy Girl cocktail, which is perfect to get me to go to sleep. It puts me in a really relaxed mood. It has melatonin and all these other great things, magnesium. That's going to help you calm down. I have sea moss as well that also helps to ease anxiety. It's also helping my skin glow, which is another aspect of the sleeping beauty. What else do I take? I also take coconut coal. Like, I just take some of my supplements at night anyways, which is making me feel more beautiful. Then I turn off all the bright lights. I put on moody lighting. I put on moody lighting in the bedroom. I light a candle. I get into bed, obviously do my skincare and like my hair situation, whatever that is for the day. I get into bed and I read my 10 pages in bed. And this will really get me super sleepy, super drowsy. And you guys will not believe the time that I'm usually going to bed is 8:30. Yeah. And I feel amazing, and I love every single bit of it. I've also started doing mouth tape in the past couple days, and I already noticed a difference. It's crazy. Not physically, not yet, but I do feel like my sleep is so much better with mouth tape. But it really does like make my throat feel so much better and like hydrated. It's weird, but I don't know. It's amazing. I highly recommend mouth taping, but I will be going over a ton of health and wellness and beauty and fashion trends over on my TikTok and my Instagram and even YouTube. I'm going to be doing a ton of fun little experiments or trying new supplements and things like that, or I'm trying out wearing a faja to see if it does it actually do anything. Will it change my measurements, or is it mainly just like bullshit? I'm also doing a color analysis. I'm going to go to somebody who is going to tell me what colors look best. And then from there, I'm going to try to like put together a capsule wardrobe to make me feel put together at all times. Like, I am just so excited to like really dive into every category of my life to try to make it better and make myself feel better and more beautiful. But I'm so excited for us, for you, for me. If you're listening to this, whether you're listening to this at 6 a.m. or 9 p.m., it is not too late to turn your day around. Drink some water, read a book, make yourself a high little protein meal, and just count it as a win today. That's all you really need. And I told the girls this on stories, but I don't want this to be an all or nothing challenge like 75 hard is, where if you fail one day, if you miss one task, you have to start all over and you feel like, oh, well, scrap it. Like, fuck, I fucked up anyways. Let me go eat a family-sized bag of Doritos. Been there. No, I want this to be about progress, not perfection. And if you do any of these tasks in your day, I want you to feel like you're a winner and that you're doing something good for yourself, because you are. Even if you're not perfect, nobody's fucking perfect. Even like, yeah, no one's perfect. So try to just check off as many things as possible. But over the 30 days, if you accomplish 11 tasks a day, it would be 330 tasks that you would have done. If you at least accomplish 297 tasks in the next 30 days, you will have a 90% success rate of trying to accomplish all of these little goals, right? So that's pretty damn good. That's a pass. That's an A, right? You get into the 85s, 80s, that's still pretty good. You know, you're passing college or whatever, high school, whatever course you're taking. So don't think of it as like a pass or fail. It's a moral of the story is I don't want you guys to feel like a failure if you miss any one of these tasks. Just know that as long as you're getting a little bit better every day, as long as these habits are getting cemented a little bit better into your daily routine, that's all that matters. And at the end of these 30 days, I want you to only take the habits that you really loved, like that you fell in love with, that you felt a change, and keep going. Like, don't think of these as like wellness habits or the winter arc challenge. Like, this is like a trial and error in finding what you're going to fall in love with that works with your daily schedule, with your life, with your responsibilities. And if you feel like you don't like any of these, or if you don't like some of these, it's okay to drop them. It's okay to kind of shift it and make it your own. It's totally fine as long as you feel good, as long as you feel like you're moving closer to your goals. That's all that matters. But also be self-aware and be mindful. Is it that you don't like it, or is it that it's hard? When in reality, we know it's something that we need to do, but it is hard. You just got to keep going. So anyways, have grace with yourself, love yourself, and just become that person that you imagine that would be like such a great guide in your life, you know? That person who you aspire to be, like, that is you. You already are them. The fact that it's already in your head to become this great person, that means she already exists. Like, it's already a thing. And maybe this isn't true with every single thing, because like I feel like I have a desire to be a pop star, but maybe I'm not going to be a pop star. I don't know. Who's to say I won't become a pop star at 50? But I will say most of these things in life that you have this burning desire for, they're meant for you. Like God or the universe, whatever, wouldn't have put this desire in your heart if it wasn't meant for you, or if it wasn't a possibility. And that's another thing. Let's quickly touch on that, actually. There's no need to be jealous or be insecure if you see other people achieving what you want, having the body that you want, the routines that you want, the life, whatever. just see it as an example, as literally God, the universe, whatever, is literally putting this in your life to show you it is possible. If I see Monet McMichaels just purchased a house, she's going to Paris and Milan and all this, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, I wish I could do that. You can. God literally put Monet in my life to show me that that is possible, and that I have to be creative with how I get there, but it is possible for me because it was possible for her, right? And so just dumb that down and take it down to like whatever your goals are for this next month. If it's happened before, it can happen again, and it can happen for you. Whoever has accomplished it before you, they're not that special. They're not. They're just like you, and you're just like them, and you will get whatever it is that they have or whatever you want. Like, yeah, life is really crazy. And I think that a lot of us get stuck in like these jealous bits, and we're like, well, why did they have that? That's not fair. You're wasting time, bestie. Get to work. Get to work. You're wasting time ranting and fitting that this isn't fair or having a temper tantrum. Just get to it, because they've already showed you it's possible. So I want a fat ass. I want fat biceps. I want to look phenom. I want to glow. I want to feel radiant. I want to be energized and happy and just like full of life. And I see so many people that are, and I know that's possible because they've achieved it. They can do it. Why can't I? It's very simple. It's very easy. And that's another thing, like getting past that mental barrier of saying like, oh, but being healthy is so hard. Weight loss is so hard. Muscle gain is so hard. You're just putting those barriers in your way. You're putting them there by saying so. So if you say that it's hard, it will be hard. If you say it's easy, it will be easy. So I say that about a lot of things. Like, oh, it's not that big deal. It's not that big of a deal. Like, I can do that. I can achieve that. I can buy that. I can go there. I can do anything. It's all so simple. It's also easy. Not a big deal. Like, it's been done before. If it's been done at least once before, anyone else, it's free game. Anyone else can achieve it. So the fact that there's 100 millionaires or 100,000 bajillion millionaires in this world just goes to show you like it's not that difficult. Or think about how many people in this world have their dream body. Probably 30 to 40% have their dream body, or at least a healthy, functioning, like fit body. That's really like good odds. Like, if 40% of this country can do it, you can do it too. What's stopping them? No, like, what's stopping you? Like, there's literally no difference between you and that person. Okay, let's not get into the nitty gritty of like medical, Besides that, it's really not that hard. So let's get to it. Let's get our grind on. Let's lock in. Let's tap in to this winter glow up challenge, and we're gonna kill it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. I hope you guys feel inspired and like a light has been fired under your ass, but in like a very nice, demure way, you know, like in a very kind, like, you got this, babe, kind of way, you know. Anyways, I love you guys, and I will see you in the next podcast episode. I'm not so sure that we'll be doing these weekly. It'll just be whenever I feel like it. Maybe I'll feel like being consistent. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Who said I can't be anything? I said that I know I can. Yeah. Maybe I am a pop star. This podcast is me being a pop star. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.